Ladies and gentlemen, imagine this. You're standing in front of her, heart racing, words sitting on the edge of your tongue. You want to say something meaningful, something that will make her see you in a different light. And yet, all you can think of is the same tired phrase, I like you. Mastering emotions over expressing them is the foundation of true strength. In a world where people are quick to declare their feelings, hoping for immediate validation, the one who exercises restraint stands apart. Emotions are powerful, but they are also fleeting. To throw them into the air carelessly, hoping they will land where we want, is a mistake. Instead, emotions must be tempered, refined, and channeled with purpose. When a man feels affection for someone, his first instinct might be to say it outright, to remove the weight from his chest as quickly as possible. But this urge comes not from strength, but from impulse. The need to confess, to seek acknowledgement, often stems from the desire to be reassured rather than a true expression of admiration. If a man can pause and ask himself, what is the purpose of these words? He gains control over them. Instead of spilling emotions for his own relief, he can shape them into something meaningful. Consider how often words are spoken without consequence. People say, I love this, I hate that, I miss you, or I need you in passing, without much thought. The more often words are used, the less weight they carry. If you wish to make an impact, you must resist the urge to give into every passing emotion and instead let them grow within you until they are ready to be expressed in a way that leaves a lasting impression. When someone says, I like you, what does it actually mean? It is a vague statement offering no depth, no substance, no uniqueness. It places the burden on the other person to interpret its meaning. But if a man truly admires someone, he should seek to make them feel that admiration rather than simply announce it. Words should never be used as a shortcut to connection. Mastering emotions does not mean suppressing them. Suppression is weakness because it comes from fear. Fear of being vulnerable, fear of rejection, fear of facing one's own feelings. Mastery, on the other hand, is control. It is understanding that emotions are tools, and like any tool, they are most effective when used with precision. Imagine two men who both feel admiration for someone. The first man blurts it out quickly, I like you, hoping for a response, hoping that by declaring his feelings, he will receive the same in return. The second man says nothing immediately. He does not rush. Instead, he lets his actions speak. He listens intently. He remembers details. He is present. He does not seek to impress with grand gestures, nor does he attempt to win affection with words. Instead, he creates an atmosphere where admiration is felt, not just heard. Which of these men leaves a stronger impression? The first man has given his emotions away too easily, expecting something in return. The second man has demonstrated his value by showing, not telling. He has mastered his emotions rather than letting them master him. And because of this, his presence alone carries weight. There is a reason why restraint commands respect. The one who does not rush to spill his emotions appears composed, in control, and intentional. People are drawn to those who do not seek constant validation because it signals inner confidence. The moment you need to say something to feel better, you are no longer in control of your emotions. They are in control of you. This is not to say that words should never be spoken, but they should be chosen carefully, reserved for when they will have the greatest impact. A man who speaks rarely but with purpose is far more compelling than one who fills the air with meaningless phrases. The less frequently words are used, the more powerful they become. If the goal is to make an impact, then words must carry weight. Instead of saying, I like you, one might say, I admire the way you think, or I respect the way you carry yourself. These statements do more than declare an emotion. They acknowledge something real, they show depth, they do not ask for validation, they give recognition. At the core of this approach is self-control. A person who masters their emotions does not let them dictate their actions. They do not chase after fleeting feelings, nor do they feel the need to prove their emotions through constant expression. They understand that the strongest connections are built not on rushed confessions, but on a foundation of trust, respect, and unspoken understanding. The next time you feel the urge to say something, simply because you feel it in the moment, pause. Ask yourself, am I saying this because I want a response, or because it truly needs to be said? If the answer is the former, hold on to it, let it build, let it strengthen. And when the time comes to express it, do so not because you need to, but because it will leave a lasting impression. Mastering emotions over expressing them is not about being cold or distant. It is about being intentional. It is about understanding that true admiration is not something that needs to be declared in haste, but something that is felt in presence, in action, in restraint. Speak, mean more. That is the path to leaving an impression that lasts. There is strength in reserved affection, a power that few understand but many feel drawn to. In a world where people rush to express every thought and feeling, the one who exercises restraint stands apart. Affection is not a prize to be thrown into the air, hoping someone will catch it and return it. It is something far more valuable, something that should be given with intention, not desperation. Too often, people believe that expressing their emotions immediately and openly is the key to winning someone's heart. They think that saying "I like you" or "I have feelings for you" will set them apart. But the truth is, these words are common. They do not carry the weight that people assume they do. Anyone can say them. They require no effort, no depth, no true understanding of the person they are directed at. And when something is given too easily, it is rarely valued. The power of reserved affection lies in its depth. It is the difference between a candle that flickers and burns out quickly and a steady flame that provides warmth for years. A man who does not rush to express every emotion is not cold. He is deliberate. He understands that emotions should not be thrown around carelessly. That true admiration is not something that needs to be constantly spoken, but something that should be felt. When someone is too eager to express affection, it can come across as a plea for validation rather than a genuine feeling. A person who constantly reassures someone of their feelings often appears as if they are trying to convince themselves as much as the other person. But a man who holds his words back, who does not seek to prove his feelings through constant expression, radiates quiet confidence. He does not need to be heard to be understood. He does not need to chase in order to be valued. Consider two men, both interested in the same person. The first man is open, expressive, quick to share his admiration. He sends messages often, compliments constantly, makes sure the other person knows how he feels. The second man is steady, composed. He does not chase, nor does he declare his feelings outright. Instead, he is present, he listens, he appreciates, he allows his actions to speak before his words. He does not reveal everything at once, leaving space for curiosity, for anticipation. Which man holds more influence? The first has given everything away too soon, removing any sense of intrigue. The second, however, has created an atmosphere of interest. His restraint is not distance, it is control. And in that control, he commands more attention than words ever could. When affection is reserved, it becomes more valuable. People are drawn to what they cannot easily have, to what is revealed in layers rather than all at once. There is a reason why the most memorable moments in life are not the ones that happen instantly, but the ones that build over time. A sudden confession may be heard and forgotten, but a steady presence, an admiration that is felt rather than constantly stated, creates something far more lasting. There is no need to rush. There is no need to seek immediate acknowledgement. The strongest emotions are not the ones that are shouted, but the ones that are shown in silence. A look, a moment of understanding, an action that speaks without words, these carry more weight than any declaration ever could. A man who understands this does not fear holding back his emotions. He does not mistake restraint for weakness. Instead, he sees it as a form of respect for his own feelings and for the person they are directed at. He does not overwhelm with words, nor does he seek validation through confession. He allows things to unfold naturally, knowing that what is truly meant will never need to be forced. This approach does not mean withholding affection indefinitely or playing games. It means valuing emotions enough to give them at the right time, in the right way, so that they carry meaning. It means understanding that love and admiration are not things to be handed out freely to anyone willing to receive them. They are precious, and because of that, they should be given with intention, not in desperation. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary lies in patience. Those who rush to express their feelings may gain temporary attention, but those who cultivate depth in their emotions create something unforgettable. A man who holds his admiration close, who does not spill it too soon, who allows it to be discovered rather than announced, carries an air of mystery. And mystery is what keeps people drawn in. Strength in reserved affection is not about playing hard to get, it is about understanding the value of patience, the power of presence, and the importance of letting emotions speak through actions rather than empty words. When affection is given without demand, when it is revealed in moments rather than declarations, it carries a weight that words alone never could. And that is what leaves a lasting impression. Words are fleeting, but actions endure. In a world where people speak easily and often, what truly matters is not what is said, but what is done. Too many believe that expressing admiration through words alone is enough, that by saying I like you or I care about you, they have accomplished something. But words spoken without action are nothing more than passing air. They are easy to say, easy to forget, and often carry little weight. Real connection is not built on verbal confessions. It is built on presence, on consistency, on the silent gestures that say more than words ever could. Anyone can say I like you, but not everyone will take the time to listen, to show up, to prove through their behavior that they mean what they say. If words and actions do not align, the words mean nothing. If someone is eager to say how they feel but does little to reinforce it, their emotions are weak, more about their own need for validation than about the person they claim to admire.
The strongest expressions of interest are not spoken. They are woven into the way a person carries themselves, in how they treat others, in the quiet things they do when no one is watching. A person who values someone does not need to declare it constantly. They show it in small but meaningful ways. They remember details. They make time. They offer their presence without needing to be asked. They create a space where admiration is felt, not just heard. There is a difference between saying, I appreciate you, and actually appreciating someone. There is a difference between saying, I respect you, and behaving in a way that shows true respect. Too often, people think that verbal expression alone is enough, that saying the right things at the right time will bring them closer to someone. But words are empty if they are not backed by action. Consider two men who admire the same person. The first man is expressive. He speaks often about his feelings, sends messages, gives compliments freely. He makes sure the other person knows how he feels. The second man does not speak as much. Instead, he listens. He pays attention. He notices what matters to the other person, remembers things they say, and acts in ways that show he understands them. He does not need to declare his admiration because it is evident in how he treats them. Which man has a stronger impact? The first man may be sincere, but his words, spoken so freely, are easily lost in the noise. The second man, through his actions, creates something deeper. His admiration is not just something he says. It is something he demonstrates, and because of that, it lingers. It is remembered. People do not remember every compliment they hear, every confession they receive, but they do remember how someone made them feel. They remember the person who showed up when no one else did, the one who listened without judgment, the one who made them feel valued without having to say it outright. A man who understands this does not rush to speak. He lets his presence say what words cannot. This is not about staying silent forever or avoiding verbal expression altogether. It is about understanding that words alone are weak if they are not reinforced. When admiration is genuine, it does not need to be announced constantly. It reveals itself in the way someone prioritizes the other person, in how they engage with them, in the quiet respect they show. There is also something powerful in restraint. When words are given too easily, they lose meaning. But when they are reserved, when they come sparingly and with intention, they carry more weight. A compliment given rarely but sincerely is far more impactful than one repeated too often. An expression of admiration means more when it is unexpected, when it comes at a moment when it truly matters, rather than being forced or overused. This applies to every relationship in life, whether in love, friendship, or respect. What people value most is not what they are told, but what they experience. A man who understands this does not feel the need to over-explain his emotions. He is not desperate to be heard. Instead, he focuses on making his presence meaningful. He does not try to impress with words. He leaves an impression through his actions. Too many believe that speaking is the only way to be understood. But the ones who are truly remembered are those who act with intention. Those who do not just say the right things, but do them. In a world where words are everywhere, it is action that sets a person apart. And when admiration is shown rather than merely spoken, it is far more powerful. It does not fade. It does not disappear with the next conversation. It remains because it was real. There is undeniable power in mystery and restraint. In a world where people are quick to reveal everything about themselves, where emotions, thoughts, and desires are openly displayed for attention, the one who holds back becomes the one who is truly intriguing. The more someone speaks, the more predictable they become. But the one who does not reveal everything immediately, who chooses their words and expressions carefully, creates a sense of depth that others cannot ignore. Restraint is not about suppression or withholding for the sake of manipulation. It is about understanding that not everything needs to be said at once. It is about allowing curiosity to build rather than extinguishing it too soon. Too often, people feel the urge to lay all their emotions bare, thinking that openness is the only path to connection. But connection is not built by rushing to express everything. It is built by allowing things to unfold naturally, by letting interest grow in its own time. People are drawn to what they cannot immediately understand. When someone presents everything about themselves too quickly, when they reveal every thought, every feeling, every desire without hesitation, there is no mystery left to uncover. Predictability is the enemy of attraction. What keeps people interested is the unknown, the sense that there is more beneath the surface, that something is yet to be discovered. A person who understands this does not feel the need to fill every silence with words. They are comfortable letting curiosity do the work for them. Imagine two conversations. In the first, one person reveals everything about themselves immediately, every past experience, every thought, every feeling. They speak without pause, leaving nothing to the imagination. In the second, the person speaks with purpose. They share pieces of themselves, but not everything at once. They allow space for the other person to wonder, to ask, to become invested in learning more. Which conversation leaves a stronger impression? The first may be filled with information, but it offers no sense of discovery. The second, however, creates something far more engaging, a feeling that there is more to learn, more to experience, more to uncover over time. The same principle applies to admiration and affection. When someone immediately declares their emotions, when they confess too soon, they remove the natural tension that builds anticipation. But when admiration is revealed slowly, through moments rather than sudden declarations, it becomes far more powerful. It gives the other person the chance to feel it, rather than just hear it. Restraint also signals confidence. The one who does not feel the need to over-explain, to constantly seek validation, demonstrates a level of self-assurance that is rare. They do not need to chase, because they understand that what is valuable is not given away too easily. They let their presence speak for itself, and in doing so, they become someone worth remembering. There is a reason why the most compelling figures in history, in literature and in life, are those who do not reveal everything too soon. They draw people in because they maintain a sense of depth, a presence that suggests there is always something more beneath the surface. The most intriguing individuals are those who give enough to spark interest, but not so much that there is nothing left to discover. This is not about playing games or being deliberately distant. It is about recognizing the value of patience. The strongest connections are not formed in a single conversation or a sudden confession. They are built over time, through shared experiences, through the gradual unfolding of admiration and respect. When someone is too quick to give everything away, they miss the opportunity to create something lasting. It is often said that the moment something is easily obtained, it loses its value. The same applies to admiration. If it is given too freely, too quickly, without effort or depth, it is taken for granted. But when it is reserved, when it is revealed in layers rather than all at once, it becomes something worth treasuring. Mystery is not about hiding who you are. It is about understanding that the most powerful emotions, the most meaningful words, are those that come at the right time, in the right way. It is about allowing space for anticipation, for curiosity, for genuine interest to grow, and when that happens, admiration is not just heard, it is felt. And what is felt, rather than simply spoken, is what truly lasts. Confidence in silence is a rare and powerful trait. In a world where people are quick to fill every moment with words, where silence is often mistaken for awkwardness or uncertainty, the one who is comfortable in quiet stands apart. There is a difference between those who speak because they have something meaningful to say, and those who speak simply to avoid silence. The latter are controlled by their need for validation, while the former demonstrate an inner strength that does not rely on constant expression. Silence is often misunderstood. Many fear it, believing that if they are not constantly speaking, they will lose attention, that they will be forgotten. But the opposite is true. The one who does not rush to speak, who allows pauses, who listens more than they talk, creates an air of presence that is far more commanding than any words could be. The one who is at ease in silence shows that they do not need to seek approval through conversation. They let others lean in. Let curiosity build. Let the weight of their presence do the speaking for them. There is a reason why people are drawn to those who do not always reveal everything immediately. When someone is comfortable in their own presence, when they do not feel the need to constantly explain themselves or prove their worth through words, they exude confidence. They show that they are self-assured, that they do not need to beg for attention, that they are valuable whether or not they are speaking at any given moment. Imagine two individuals. One speaks quickly, filling every moment with words, explaining themselves, constantly reaffirming their thoughts, their emotions, their intentions. They seek reassurance that they are being heard, that they are understood. The other remains composed. They do not rush to fill silence with unnecessary chatter. When they do speak, it is with purpose. They do not waste words. And because of that, when they do speak, people listen. Which of these individuals leaves a stronger impression? The one who constantly speaks may be heard in the moment, but they are quickly forgotten. The one who speaks with intention, who allows silence to exist without discomfort, becomes someone others respect, admire, and remember. Confidence in silence does not mean withholding words out of fear. It does not mean refusing to speak or deliberately remaining distant. It means understanding that words have more power when they are not overused. It means recognizing that presence alone can be enough, that what is left unsaid often carries more weight than what is spoken. People often make the mistake of believing that the only way to express admiration, interest, or affection is through words. But admiration is most powerful when it is shown rather than stated. A look, a gesture, a moment of understanding, these often say far more than a string of words ever could. A man who understands this does not feel the need to constantly verbalize his emotions. He does not rush to fill every moment with expressions of affection. Instead, he allows admiration to be felt through his actions, his presence, and the way he carries himself. This kind of confidence is magnetic. The person who does not chase, who does not over-explain, who does not seek to be constantly heard, becomes someone of value. Others are drawn to them because they do not demand attention, they command it naturally. Their silence is not emptiness, it is depth. It suggests thoughtfulness, self-assurance, and the ability to be comfortable without seeking external validation. There is also a certain power in making others wonder. When someone speaks too much, reveals too much, they leave nothing to discover. But the one who holds back, who speaks only when necessary, creates intrigue. They give others the chance to become curious, to want to know more, to seek out their thoughts rather than being overwhelmed by them. This principle applies in every area of life, in conversation, in relationships, in leadership. Those who know when to be silent, who do not rush to fill space with unnecessary words, always hold the greatest influence. Their words are valued more because they are not given freely. They do not waste energy proving themselves. They let their presence and their actions speak for them. People are conditioned to believe that if they are not speaking, they are not being noticed. But the opposite is true. The one who is comfortable in silence, who does not scramble to be heard, often holds more power than the one who is always talking. Their restraint suggests strength, their patience suggests wisdom, and their quiet confidence is far more compelling than any loud display of self-importance. This is not about staying silent forever. It is about knowing when to speak and when to let silence do the work. It is about recognizing that true confidence does not come from being the loudest voice in the room, but from being the one who does not need to be loud in order to be heard. When someone masters this, when they learn to embrace silence rather than fear it, they become someone others respect, admire, and are drawn to without even realizing why. Genuine admiration does not seek a reaction. It is given freely, without expectation, without the need for validation. In a world where so many people express their feelings in hopes of receiving something in return, attention, approval, reciprocation, the one who admires without demanding anything back stands apart. This kind of admiration is rare, and because it is rare, it holds immense power. Most people express admiration as a transaction. They believe that by showing interest, by offering compliments, by confessing their feelings, they are owed something in return. They expect appreciation, acknowledgement, or even affection. And when they do not receive the response they desire, they become frustrated, disappointed, even resentful. But this is not true admiration. This is neediness disguised as affection. It is admiration that is given not for the sake of the other person, but for the sake of the one expressing it. And because it is conditional, it is weak. True admiration does not operate this way. It does not place demands on the other person. It does not beg for attention. It does not seek validation. It simply is. It exists independently, without needing confirmation, without requiring anything in return. A man who understands this does not feel the need to declare his feelings in order to receive a response. He does not chase. He does not place his sense of worth in the hands of another. Instead, he admires freely, expecting nothing, needing nothing. And because of that, he holds a presence that is both powerful and rare. Consider the difference between two men. The first man expresses his admiration openly, eagerly. He gives compliments often. He seeks attention. He subtly, or not so subtly, hopes for acknowledgement in return. His admiration is tied to his own needs. His need to be noticed, to be appreciated, to feel as though his emotions are validated by the response he receives. But because his admiration is dependent on an outcome, it loses its strength. It feels more like a plea than a gift. The second man, however, admires without expectation. He does not need to announce his feelings. He does not seek recognition for his admiration. Instead, he simply appreciates from a place of self-sufficiency. He is not concerned with whether the other person notices, acknowledges, or even reciprocates his feelings. He admires because it is his nature to do so, not because he hopes to gain something from it, and because his admiration is not a demand, but a quiet presence. It carries far more weight. People can sense when admiration comes with expectation. They can feel when someone is trying to get something from them, even if that something is simply a reaction. And when admiration feels like a demand, it loses its magic. It becomes pressure rather than appreciation, and no one responds well to pressure. But when admiration is given freely, when it is offered with no strings attached, it becomes something that others gravitate toward. It creates space rather than taking it. It invites rather than demands. This kind of admiration is not weak, it is strong. It is the admiration of someone who does not need external validation to feel secure in their emotions. It is the admiration of someone who is whole within themselves, who does not seek completion from another, but who simply appreciates without expectation. This kind of man does not chase. He does not place his happiness in someone else's response. He simply exists in his admiration, and because of that he remains unaffected, unshaken. There is also something deeply attractive about admiration that is not forced upon someone. When a person does not feel pressured to respond, they become more open to feeling. When admiration is quiet rather than loud, when it is steady rather than desperate, it allows space for natural interest to grow. It does not try to control or manipulate, it simply exists, and in doing so, it creates an environment where true connection can form. This is why those who admire from a place of self-sufficiency always seem to have more influence than those who seek validation. They do not act from a place of scarcity, but from a place of abundance. They do not feel the need to convince anyone of their worth, because they already know their worth, and because they do not ask for anything in return, they stand out. This approach applies to everything in life. When someone approaches their goals, their passions, their relationships with the same mindset, giving effort without needing an immediate return, they always find more success. The one who works hard without constantly seeking recognition achieves more than the one who needs constant validation. The one who gives freely, whether in love, in work, or in friendship, receives more in the long run than the one who constantly asks for something back. This is the essence of true strength, the ability to admire, to give, to appreciate without neediness. It is the ability to remain steady whether or not someone else acknowledges or reciprocates. It is the ability to be secure in oneself, to not place happiness in another's hands, but to admire simply because one chooses to, without expectation, without demand.